Hello everybody, and welcome to the Sea of Thieves. In today's episode, we'll be discussing debris and the Devil's Roar. We'll do this in two bits. The first discussing debris, such as shipwrecks, barrels of plenty, washed up treasures, bottles, and siren statues. Then we'll discuss the Devil's Roar, covering the nature of the region, obstacles, events, and loot. First, we'll be discussing the debris. Have you ever noticed barrels floating around the seas whenever you're simply sailing by? These barrels are known as the barrels of plenty. These come in different forms. Some is simply just barrels harboring supplies, some will have treasure alongside the barrels, and others will have gunpowder barrels sneaking amongst them. So be wary when sailing about, since you never know when your ship may suddenly explode. And for anyone who claims these show up from actual players sinking, that is just simply incorrect. Though actual supply barrels do float up to the surface from player ships sinking. But these barrels will look like the supply barrels where we store our cannonballs, food, and wood on the ship. Barrels of plenty, player ship loot, skelly ship loot, kraken loot, and megalodon loot all have 8 or so birds above them, contrary to the 20 birds that are above the organically spawned shipwrecks. And one final fact about barrels of plenty is that you can find normal bottle quests and coral bottle quests. The normal bottles grant you quests ranging from riddle quests to skeleton bounties. These quests offer kingly loot. Coral bottle quests grant you the opportunity to find a breath of the sea at a specific coral shrine or treasury. These can cost 5 to 10,000 gold, and these are required for Sunken Sorrow cosmetics. Next we have washed up treasure. At any given island you sail to, you can find bits of treasure on the beaches. Whether it be trinkets or barnacle chests, you can find treasures above the waterline and below. This is yet another way to find bottles and coral bottles. Along with treasures, you can find cursed siren statues near the shoreline. Never fully out of the water, though you can see the occasional statue sticking out of the water. These statues have gems that come in 3 different colors, blue, green, and red. When destroyed, they will drop 1 to 3 of their respective gems. The blue giving 1,000 in gold, green giving 1.5 thousand, and red giving 2,000 in gold. Though do be careful, for the statue itself does damage over time to any player nearby. These statues also have the ability to regenerate, so make sure to keep your damage consistent, for if you take any breaks in destroying it, your progress will be reverted. The higher the value of the statue, the faster it will regenerate. And finally we have the shipwrecks to discuss. Shipwrecks can be found floating near the surface of the water anywhere in the sea. When finding a natural shipwreck, you'll be looking for about 20 birds. Shipwrecks can have a variety of treasures and supplies within them. One unique type of treasure you can find are kingly treasures. These treasures come in forms of chests and skulls, and they can be quite valuable. There's also a set of cosmetics called the cartography set, which comes with a cutlass and eye of reach. These cosmetics can only be earned if you sell 1,000 of these items. Kingly skulls, kingly chests, and crowns of hope can also be found in bottle quests. So make sure to comb the beaches and every shipwreck you come across to earn these fine cosmetics. Another fun fact about shipwrecks is the fact that you can find Reaper's chests and bounties in them. I discussed this in the previous video regarding Athenas and Reapers. But if there is a Reaper's chest or bounty in a shipwreck, the other loot found in the shipwreck will be increased to be about the quantity of a skeleton fort's worth of treasure. So make sure to stop by these shipwrecks whenever you can. But now that the topic of debris is done, let's cover the Devil's Roar. The Devil's Roar is a volcanic region that was discovered during the earlier events of the Sea of Thieves by the fleet of Forsaken Ashes. This region is not for the faint of heart, for there are active volcanoes all over the region. There are 2 types of volcanoes, one that exists away from the islands that can trouble you while sailing, and one that exists on the larger islands which can create even greater chaos for any docked there or for any passing by. When a volcano erupts, the surrounding water will start to boil. This will damage any player swimming in it over time, and if your ship is floating within the boiling water and takes any damage, the water within the ship will start to boil as well, which makes repairing even more difficult. On top of the boiling water, volcanoes will unleash a myriad of flaming rocks in all directions, ranging from shark-sized to sloop-sized rocks. They can wreak havoc on any players on the island, or simply to the ships themselves. But the dangers don't stop there. When on any island, there can be earthquakes and geysers that erupt from any point on the island. The earthquakes will throw you off your balance and have you sway in all directions. Geysers can launch players into the air, causing them to take fall damage when they hit the ground. But these geysers can also be used to take out enemies such as the skeletons and ocean crawlers. But when on the bigger islands, the earthquakes can sometimes lead to volcanic eruption. While not all earthquakes lead to eruption, every eruption follows an earthquake. One additional danger that is caused by volcanoes when erupting is lava flow that spreads throughout the island, which will cause burn damage whenever you step on them. And one final inconvenience earthquakes provide is the pushing of your ship. So if it isn't anchored, your ship will slightly drift away from the island. By now you're probably thinking, why on earth would I choose to sail into this hellscape? Well, the benefit to this hellscape is that nearly every treasure found in the Devil's Roar is worth twice as much as the treasure in every other region. You may have noticed, in your travels, there are pieces of loot called ashen treasures, which look like burnt versions of normal treasures. For example, an ashen seafarer's chest is just a Devil's Roar variant of the normal seafarer's chest. And while the seafarer's chest may be worth about 300 gold, the ashen seafarer's chest is worth about 600. And the same goes for the reputation value of these treasures, which means if you wish to level up a trading company twice as fast, your best bet is to do those quests in the Devil's Roar. Speaking of which, you can partake in most of the existing quests within the Devil's Roar, giving you ashen variants of nearly every type of treasure within the Sea of Thieves. Though, for the merchants, there are no animal quests, for there are no animals within the Devil's Roar. Also, the Ashen Lost Shipment Voyage only end within the Devil's Roar, rather than having you travel throughout it. And it doesn't offer you Ashen Merchant loot either, currently at least. But you do have Ashen Cargo quests, which grant you Ashen Cargo worth at least 1400. The best quests to complete in the Devil's Roar are the Ashen Gold Hoarder Vaults, which nearly every piece of treasure within is ashen, meaning one of the most profitable quests in the game has an ashen variant granting double the profits. And to finish off the topic of ashen quests, there's also an Ashen Athena quest, which acts the same as a normal Athena quest, giving you normal Athena items, but in the end, it grants you an Ashen Chest of Legends. An Ashen Chest of Legends is worth about 16,000 gold, one of the most expensive items in the game, and definitely the most reputation within a single Athena item. Some other fun facts about the Devil's Roar: the skeletons you will face are all ashen variants of normal skeletons. They may look ashen, but they act just the same as normal skeletons. You can still receive bottle quests in the Devil's Roar, which will grant you Ashen Bottle quests. These Ashen Bottle quests will grant you Ashen Kingly loot as well, which are incredibly valuable. If you get to grade 5 in your emissary, you can receive your emissary quest from Marlo's Peak Outpost in the Devil's Roar to receive an Ashen Emissary quest, which will offer you ashen variants of emissary unique treasures, quite rare and valuable indeed. When it comes to active skeleton forts, there is a skeleton fort called Molten Sands Fortress, which has a small chance to become active, which has mostly ashen treasures, along with a guaranteed chest of rage. And finally, the Marlo's Peak Outpost has a volcano, but it is inactive. But that wasn't always the case. And that's just about everything there is to say about Debris and the Devil's Roar. If there's anything I've missed, please make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Next episode we'll be covering the Hunter's Call, and with the new update just around the corner, this will be a two-parter, with the first part covering everything about the Hunter's Call that currently exists, and part 2 will cover everything in the new update when it comes out. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.